Texas baseball starts off the season with a bang. Who should be considered a dark horse to win the NBA championship? And the NBA All-Star Weekend did not disappoint. All this and more on College Crossfire.
Yeah, let's do this.
All right! Let me explain why Aaron Judge is getting it. You can boo me all you want, but I want to see the UCF Knights in the playoffs. I want to see them. Herman, I don't like the Wait, you don't like Take a bow. Take a bow. This is all chaos.
Welcome into College Crossfire, the hottest debate show on the 40 acres. Tonight we have an exciting show planned, and with that said, let's meet the panel. On first base tonight we have the reigning champ, Raul Rodriguez, Mr. 305 himself. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. I'm coming off a win. Texas basketball is playing TCU right now. They're up, so I'm feeling good.
Awesome, awesome. On second base we have Jordan Geelhoed. Jordan, how are you doing?
Feeling good, yeah. First show of the semester, so I'm going to get some of the rust out hopefully this show and maybe pull out a win. Who knows?
We hope so very much. On third, we have Jake Herman. Jake, how does it feel to be on the show?
Feels great. Feels great to be back. Took a couple of tough losses. Got snake bit during rapid fire last season. Looking to come back strong. New season to College Crossfire.
Well, that's great, Jake, and good luck to all you guys. Have a great show, everybody.
Thank you.
Well, despite Texas's win tonight, they have had struggles continue for the Texas men's basketball team. The team is well below 500 in Big 12 play and stands no chance to make the NCAA tournament. If this holds true, this will mark 3 out of 5 seasons with no tournament appearances for Shaka Smart. With a barely over 500 record at his time at Texas, will Shaka Smart be the head coach of the Texas Longhorns next year?
I'd be surprised if any one of you said that he was, because I'm gonna tell you right now, Shaka Smart has to go. Texas, you said in his 5 years with Texas, he's only brought them to 2 tournaments. He's missed it 3 times. His all-time record with Texas is 85-77, which is a positive record, but if you're coaching for Texas Longhorns, you want to shoot for the stars, and that's obviously not cutting it, especially in the Big 12, which is as competitive as it is right now with Baylor and Iowa State. So obviously, they're not in a good position right now. Shaka Smart's on the hot seat. Their team has not been performing well. They might have just gotten one back against TCU, but you said they're not making the tournament. The NIT is the losers tournament, and if they make it, that's great, but you're not winning it all and making it to the actual tournament that matters. So after this season, I think Shaka's got to go.
Yeah, I mean, Texas Longhorn fans do not expect to get back to NIT tournaments. Yeah. They expect to get to NCAA tournaments, and Shaka hasn't done that.
Yeah, I think that similar to what Raul said, since Shaka's not going to be able to make the NCAA tournament this year, or well, it's becoming more likely then, he's probably going to be shown the door. And, I mean, he's had good recruiting classes in the past, but he hasn't been able to just produce much out of them. And when you're playing for a team like Texas with as many resources as it has, you're kind of expected to be contenders all of your years. You know, it reminds me of Charlie Strong when he was the head coach for the football team. He had a lot of talent. He just wasn't able to do much with it. And while the Shaka Smart did win the NIT, I mean, winning the NIT for Texas means not that much. And so I think, yeah, it might be time to go for Shaka Smart.
Yeah, I don't think it's been a recruiting issue for Shaka Smart. It's more been when it comes to playing in Big 12 play, he has really struggled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jordan, it's funny you mentioned recruiting because Shaka Smart has actually done a great job of recruiting on paper. He's brought in multiple 3, 4, 4.5-star recruits every single year, and we just see them consistently not pan out on this Texas Longhorns team, whether they're riding the bench or struggling to find any kind of a consistent offensive flow. And really, the team hasn't had a consistent offensive flow for all 5 years of Shaka Smart's tenure. And Raul, I know you brought up a point about expectations. I don't think the Texas fans right now are expecting much out of this Texas team at all. Tonight against TCU, Frank Irwin Center looked pretty much empty. There's an all-time lack of optimism, and apathy is at an all-time high. And after 5 years, I think this program just needs a fresh face. I think Shaka Smart will be out after this year.
Yeah, definitely a glaring issue is the offensive struggles, and that could be a lot attributed to Shaka Smart and his head coaching. Great answer, guys. We're going to move on, though, right now onto some women's basketball. The Lady Longhorns seem to have rebounded from their early season struggles in non-conference play. However, the team has dropped 3 of their last 5 games and seem to have lacked stability. So the question is, why is the Lady Longhorns struggling so consistently?
So I'll just start off. You talked about how they had some pre-conference struggles. I think when you're playing in obviously conference games are a lot harder to play in because you know these teams compete against them as often as you do. They lost to Hawaii and North Carolina State. Not really huge Losses, probably just big slip up for the team. But coming into the conference, they're playing against teams. Obviously, Baylor's #1 right now, 13-0. Iowa State, they lost to Iowa State. And I think they're going to lose to TCU too, which has also been playing very well. I think it's more of just wear and tear. This team obviously is a good team. You know, the Big 12 is obviously a very competitive conference when you look at all the other conferences in the nation. It's a good team. They're a good team, but they're just not, making that next step. And obviously, playing against such tough teams is going to do some damage to a team's overall mentality, and that's kind of letting them slip up. Obviously, they lost to Kansas, which was 2-11 in the Big 12. Kind of an embarrassment for the organization, and you got to look past that if you're the Texas Longhorns. And unfortunately for them, that hasn't been the case, and that's probably just going to continue throughout the season until they get into a rhythm of just winning these conference games, which are so important.
Yeah, definitely that loss to Kansas was a tough one for the Ladies Longhorns.
Yeah, I feel like maybe the inconsistencies, it's hard to pin down one thing, but I think it might be down to the coach, Karen Aston, because I feel like she just hasn't been able to get consistent play from these girls at any point in time, because sometimes they'll be able to take down the #1 Stanford, or #1 at the time, and then sometimes they're playing Kansas and they lose and they don't seem to have any spark or fire or anything like that in them. And I feel like the talent is there. Sometimes they've been plagued with injuries and stuff like that. And Karen Aston, she's been able to take them to the Sweet 16 for a couple of times, but in order to avoid becoming a first-round exit like they were last season, I think she has to make sure that the team that shows up in the tournament is one that's going to come ready to play.
Yeah, definitely. Winning against Stanford but losing against Kansas, that's just a wide range for them. Jake?
Yeah, Jordan, I agree with a lot of what you just said, because it seems like this Texas team, some nights they have it and some nights they just don't. And on the nights when they don't, they have a hard time coming back and getting off the mat. A few times in their past few losses, they've simply been blown out by teams that are inferior in terms of resume and in terms of record. And that just can't happen. And that falls on both the players to iron out their shooting percentages. Texas has been shooting particularly poorly over the last few games, but really it falls on Karen Aston. I would love to see some of those mid-game adjustments to help Texas come back, because it seems like when they fall behind early in these recent games, they just haven't found any answers.
Yeah, definitely we've been talking about Shaka Smart for the men's, but Karen Aston has to get some blame as well for the Texas Longhorns struggles right there. Now we're going to move on from basketball to baseball. The Texas baseball team started their season off last Friday and have since won their first 5 games. The team this is big for the team. Sorry about that. This is big for the team as they are coming off a disappointing season from the year prior. What is the biggest takeaway from these games? Anybody jump in?
Yeah, I'll start this one off. My biggest takeaway from early on this season, through 5 games, everyone that's come to the plate for Texas has multiple hits and a walk. And that's a great sign, because this is a Texas team that, when they had their early season success last year, it was on the backs of just a few guys. Austin Todd, Eric Kennedy, among others. At the top of that batting order, Duke Ellis is another one that was red hot early in the season. But then when those 3 guys kind of cooled off, the season went off the rails for Texas. It's a very encouraging sign to me that Texas has all of their bats going early on. Everybody's contributing, and they're not relying too much on a few guys.
Yeah, no, definitely. Just the consistency to get on base is important for the Longhorns.
Yeah, I feel like the win and the sweep really was really good to boost the team's confidence, because, any time you win coming straight out the offseason, it's really good to get the team's confidence. But for a team as new as this one, the guys haven't really had a whole lot of time to play together, and it shows that they can win together, and not only that, but sweep as well. And I feel like they can ride that momentum throughout into the season. And Rice is not the best competition, but they're still a pretty good baseball team, and I feel like it was good for them.
Like you said, though, not the greatest competition. However, to get 3 games off the start like that, huge for the Texas Longhorns.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on what Jordan said. The momentum is huge, especially coming off such a mediocre season from last year. What really has improved as far as the previous season is the young guys are here to play. You look at the team and what they've been doing. Trey Faltini's having a great start to the season. He's already homered as a freshman. Brendan Dixon, another freshman, is homered, and so has some of the other players on the team. So right now they have 5 home runs. You look at last season, the team had a total of 24 home runs through the entirety of the season. Now they have 5 in 3 games against Rice. So obviously it's more of an uptick from what they were last year. You can look for them to build off that. Duke Ellis is here to play. He was pretty huge for them last year. And all around, just a good baseball team. I think they were trying to improve from last year. Obviously, you don't want to sit as Texas and be such a mediocre team when you're looking at other teams in the conference like Texas Tech, who've been doing very well for themselves. And just the team has just found a way to just connect, and they've really got it going so far.
Yeah, no, definitely the home run hitting has been important for Texas. So now we're going to recap the score for this round. We have Jake with 7, Jordan with 7, and you know what, Raul, you also have 7 right now. So we got a nice tie going into round 2. When we come back, the panel picks what college baseball team has the best chance to win in Omaha and lets me know if they liked the new NBA All-Star Game format. Welcome back to College Crossfire. Let's quickly recap the score, everyone. We have everybody at 7 points, and remember, it's still anybody's game. Okay, last season, the Vanderbilt Commodores won the College Baseball World Series against the Michigan Wolverines. Well, what do you know? Vandy has entered the season as the #1 team in the country, with other teams like UCLA and Louisville right behind them. So the question is, who is your early pick to win it all in Omaha?
I'm gonna go with Auburn here. Auburn is a team that has perennially been a really good baseball team, and they made it to Omaha last season, but unfortunately they lost. They didn't win a game once they made it to Omaha. So I think coming back, they're gonna obviously have a lot to prove. They want to make that. They want to cement that win. What's helping them a lot is the fact that out of their 10 pitchers, only 10 pitchers from last year, only 1 pitcher left. And obviously pitching is so huge in college baseball and in baseball in general. So to only lose 1 out of your 10 rotating pitchers is huge. Obviously, they have a lot of talent coming in, as big as an organization as they are. You got kids wanting to go play there, and they also have a veteran presence there. You have guys like Kason Howell, who was second on the team, 9 home runs. He's great on the outfield. They have one of the best outfields in the nation, arguably. And you also have Judd Ward, who had a career season on the bat. So you look at this team, and they have something to prove. The only real problems they're going to have, I guess, are SEC rivalries, Alabama, Florida. Those are going to be tough for them to win against. But right now they're ranked 8th in the nation. So I think they're in good position, 3-0 right now, and they're looking like a team that can possibly win it.
Yeah, all great points right there. Jordan?
Yeah, I think, it's hard to tell seeing as the season just started this weekend, but I feel like I have a good feeling about Louisville. They made it to the semifinals, right, last year, and they got knocked out. But I feel like a lot of their teammates and the players and the coaches, a lot of them are carrying over, and it's good to have that consistency, and they might come back with a vengeance this year. And the #1 team, Vanderbilt, they lost a lot of people, and while they're still probably going to make it back because they're really good, I don't know, I feel like this might be Louisville's year.
Yeah, all great points, Jake.
I'm going to stay out in the Southeastern Conference, but I'm going to disagree with you, Raul. I'm going to go with the Florida Gators as my preseason pick. It's obviously hard to predict so early on. Florida's a team that had big expectations last year, came up short because they just couldn't get anybody out. The pitching was really lackluster. Guys at the top of their rotation that were supposed to be shut down guys ended up struggling with ERAs in the 4s. This year, I think they get that corrected, combined with a lot of returning offense for a really dangerous combination. Florida had the #1 recruiting class coming into this season. I think it'll pan out, and everything will come together for the Gators to win one in the Swamp. Great home field advantage there, by the way.
Yeah, definitely a great home field advantage. I'm going to give this point to Jordan, though. I think Louisville is excellent. I think I saw them play last year. They have a lot, and like you said, they're returning a lot of people again. So I'm going to give Jordan the point there. This past Sunday, the NBA All-Star Game honored Kobe Bryant as they changed up the All-Star format. Each team played for a charity of their captain's choice and earned $100K for each quarter they won. After the first 3 quarters, it looked like the same old game. But then the 4th quarter came and the play intensified and brought the All-Star experience to a new level, with charges being called and way less dunks. So after this weekend, should the new format be continued in the future? Jordan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think it absolutely should be continued in the future, especially in the All-Star game, because the first 3 quarters, they were stereotypical All-Star game stuff, a lot of dunks, threes, not a lot of defense, but the 4th quarter was so much more competitive now that you had to score to play to, and I think that having that specific score to play to, it guarantees a winning shot, which is arguably the most exciting part of a basketball game, is the winning shot, and I feel like it just feels like street ball, except instead of watching your friends play on the blacktop, you're watching the best players in the world play. Yeah. And I feel like one thing to do to make it even more kind of street ball is to get rid of the free throws and just have them check up at the top of the key if they score a foul.
Yeah.
If they have a foul.
Yeah, that might take a while though, depending.
Yeah,
You know,
it
if
might.
he found him at the end of the game for
Yeah.
that 157. Jake.
Yeah, I don't know. So obviously the fourth quarter was amazing as a basketball fan to watch unfold and see the effort that had always been lacking from the All-Star games past. I think it's unrealistic to expect the players to play with that kind of effort in the All-Star game for all 4 quarters. I think the format was brilliant, and it should stay pretty much similar. My only tweak I would propose would be not allowing a team to win on a free throw, just as Jordan said. I wouldn't go with the whole half-court check-up type of fashion, but maybe, players can foul out, but there are no shooting fouls down the stretch of the game.
Yeah, I would agree that the shooting foul is very tough, but they have all those players on the bench. You might as well just let them foul out if they do keep consistently
That's right.
fouling on purpose.
And you can see more matchups.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like, the fourth quarter was probably the most exciting out of the All-Star game. And obviously, the fact that they had a limit in terms of how many points you have to get to, it really encourages defense, because if there's a time limit, you're really not going to play as hard if you're down by 5, when you know that if you can get that stop, you can hit a certain point and you'd win the game. I also think the fact that they did it for Kobe, obviously that was huge, the tragedy that happened with Kobe. This would be a nice way for the NBA to honor Kobe, keeping that 24-point limit after whatever the third quarter's highest scoring team is. I think that'd be a good way to honor Kobe, because they really haven't done. They've done a lot, obviously, around the league, but this would be a nice way to cement his legacy in the NBA. And also the charity thing that they were doing is, fantastic. Really a way for them to give back to all the people who are watching, all the people who really love basketball and need the money. So I think this is a really good format they can, use down the road.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was really nice to see both charities. The crowds were there, and it was really nice to see them right up near the basket. I'm going to give the point to you, Raul. I really do like that they've made this event kind of a Kobe Bryant event. I mean, he was a 3-time All-Star MVP, so definitely Kawhi Leonard getting that first ever Kobe Bryant MVP was definitely worth it. So you're getting the point there, Raul. Now we move from the All-Star game to the regular season. We have about 30 games left, and the playoff race is wide open for the first time in a while, honestly, right now. With no Warriors, that means no parity. You have favorites like the Bucks and the Lakers to win it all. But who do you think a dark horse is to make a run in the NBA playoffs?
So obviously, when you're thinking about a dark horse, you got to think about a team in the East, because the West is so stacked right now that any team that's not in the top 5 really has a really low chance of shaking things up. I think my pick is going to be the Brooklyn Nets, and I'll tell you why. Because Kyrie Irving, when he's on the court, he is unstoppable, and the Nets have been doing very well when he is healthy. Obviously, injuries are a concern. Obviously they have Kyrie Irving injured. Kevin Durant's not going to play this season, but imagine if he was playing. Spencer Dinwiddie's really stepped up for that team. He's averaging 21 points, 6.6 assists, and he's really a solid piece for him to build off of. In the East, that's kind of weak. They've beaten all the teams that are in the top 5 of the East, so they have a chance of beating them again, except for the Bucks, who they've only played once and lost to, but they still have 3 more games against them. So there's a lot of time for them to improve, a lot of time for Kyrie to get healthy, and if they're going to be any team to kind of shake things up in the playoffs, definitely look for Brooklyn to be that team.
Yeah, they definitely have potential. However, with the there's no indefinite. He's right now Kyrie's with indefinite, so it's definitely hard, to see what he is. We're actually gonna go straight to Jake, and we'll get back to you right now. Jordan.
Yeah, I think, Zach, that Kyrie injury is a little bit more severe than maybe the Nets had initially led on. I don't think we'll be seeing him on the court for a little while. And so my dark horse team is going to be the Miami Heat. I didn't want to steal the thunder over there from Mr. 305, Raul Rodriguez himself, but I think this Miami Heat team is good and getting better, and I don't think the league has an answer for them just yet. They defend very well for the all 48 minutes of the game. Jimmy Butler is great. Working Jay Crowder into the fold has gone well so far for them. Tyler Hero, Kendrick Nunn, Bam Adebayo, all budding stars that the league hasn't figured out how to stop yet, and I think they'll be on a tear this playoff season.
Yeah, no, Miami definitely with those trade deadline acquisitions definitely increased their chance of making a run in the NBA playoffs. Jordan?
I think, and while I agree with your statements about the West, I'm actually going to choose a team from the West. I'm going to go with the Utah Jazz, even though it's hard to imagine a team that doesn't have LeBron or Kawhi on it to get out of the West. I feel like they have 2 All-Stars in Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, who are really, really good. And the acquisition of Mike Conley, who's also a really solid player, could give them the boost that they need to achieve that next level. They had a good win streak going before the All-Star break, and because of Conley and the rest that they got from the All-Star break, I feel like that this might be the right time to catch fire, right in time for the playoffs.
Yeah, no, the Jazz definitely were catching fire right before the All-Star break. They went on a big win streak. They're definitely a threat in the West. However, I'm going to give this point to Jake. I think the Heat can make a real run. I can see them definitely getting to the Eastern Conference Final, potentially against Milwaukee. It might be tough to win against Milwaukee, but the Heat I really do like. So
Jimmy on Giannis, you never know.
Exactly. That should be a good battle. They also had 2 All-Stars in Jimmy and Bam Adebayo. we're going to move on, though, right now. We're going to give you a quick recap of the score, everybody. We have Jake with 8, Jordan with 8, and Raul with 8. So it's still tied up, just like after the first round. So rapid fire should be very interesting. When we come back, the panel debates who else got robbed out of first place and what team name should be next in the XFL. Welcome back, and now it's time for the rapid fire round. Let's quickly recap the scores, though. We have everyone has 8 points, so it's still anybody's game, we know. And you have to remember, this round, each question is worth 2 points. So last day, the NBA dunk contest electrified the crowd and was considered one of the best in a while. While Pat Connaughton and Dwight Howard went back to the past with their dunks, it was Aaron Gordon and Derrick Jones Jr. who stole the show at the end, though. The contest ended in controversy as Aaron Gordon received a less than spectacular score with a dunk over a 7-foot 5-inch Taco Fall, leading to a win for Jones Jr. So what other sport event do you feel someone got robbed in and deserved first place? Anybody can hop in.
I got one for you. I think the Saints got robbed multiple times in the playoffs. I think, obviously, I'm not the biggest Saints fan, but I will say the refs aren't necessarily the best when it comes to officiating Saints games, and they probably would have made it to the Super Bowl, maybe even won because they had a lot of talent on the team when they did go against the Rams and that fateful call was called. So I think they got pretty cheated out of a win.
They definitely had an injury. I mean, they changed the rule for them for that next season. Yeah. Jake.
Yeah. Well, this is gonna be controversial, but in light of the recent news about the sign stealing scandal going on in baseball, I think you can say that the New York Yankees and Los Angeles Dodgers were robbed.
Okay.
They were robbed by a team that used unfair methods to win the title. That's about as unjust as it gets.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, like you said, the sign stealing scandal has been a lot of backlash by the MLB, more than I think Commissioner Rob Manfred expected to get. Jordan?
I think that if we want to stay in the slam dunk contest arena, I feel like Aaron Gordon also got robbed when he went against Zach LaVine.
Okay.
Yeah, no slander towards LaVine, of course. His dunks were all amazing, and DJJ's this year were amazing as well. But Aaron Gordon, when he went under the legs, grabbing the ball off the mascot while it was on a hoverboard, I mean, that should have won in the tournament right there.
That's one of my all-time favorite dunks. I've never seen anything like that. That's what I always ask for. It's incredible. But I'm going to have to give the points to Jake, though, because I do think truly that the Astros did rob the Dodgers that year of winning a World Series. And you can also argue that Altuve ruined Aaron Judge's chance as well of winning the MVP.
Those are sad points to win.
Those are some 2-1. So Jake, you're going to get the 2 points for that one. 2 weeks into the XFL season, and fans are in love with having football during this NFL offseason. The league has been gaining plenty of attention, and fans love the team names, from Roughnecks and Battlehawks to Vipers and Dragons. So, if you could name your XFL franchise, what would it be?
I have one right off the bat. So you're going to look at a state that has very poor performances when it comes to football. So you're looking at Ohio, more specifically Cleveland, Ohio. I'm going to call them the Cleveland Hopefuls because hopefully if they get a team, this will be the first team in Ohio that can actually have success playing football.
Wow, and imagine if they won a championship in the XFL for the Browns.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be tough. Jake, Jordan?
Yeah, I think even though there are already 2 XFL teams in the state of Texas, I'm going to have to give another one to my hometown, San Antonio. And I feel like even though there are no Sharks in San Antonio, I kind of like the name the San Antonio Sharks, even though we're pretty far inland, away from the coast. San Antonio needs another team. The Commanders from the AF, we all loved them, and we really need an XFL team. San Antonio Sharks.
San Antonio Sharks got a little right there. Okay. Jake?
Yeah, well, I'm happy you went first. I talked myself out of my first idea, which was the Birmingham Crimson Tigers. I was going to try to bridge together Alabama and Auburn. I'm going to instead take football to another football crazed state, the Dakotas, the Great Plains region. Give me the South Dakota Stonemen, Mount Rushmore homage.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, those are interesting. I didn't think about this one. You know what? I mean, South Dakota, I think, needs a little love. You know, Dakotas are good. So, Jake, you're going to get the points there as well. South Dakota.
Let's go. Go Mount Rushmore.
Hey, there it is. You know, the Stonemen may be the future of the XFL right there. We'll have to see. South Dakota, put them on the map. Okay, the last question now. Getting back into the All-Star Weekend, Common introduced the players, and people loved what the Chicago native had to offer. If you missed it, let me give you an example from myself, okay? always on the attack. He never misses an opportunity to the rack and dunk it on someone's back. That's why they call me Zach, you know, right? So that was pretty good, right? So now it's your turn, though. Introduce yourself in a common style for the All-Star lineup right now.
Okay.
Do the best you can. I mean,
All
I
right.
understand.
So if we're going with NBA All-Star, I think to rhyme with the name, I'm going to go, he's ready to win. He's shooting shots like he's shooting into the trash bin. It's Jordan.
Oh,
Hey,
that worked.
that's tough. You got the
works.
goat to live up
You
to.
got it there. I liked that one,
You know,
Jordan. I really did.
So I'll go. I guess I'll start off. Raul, I'm on the attack. I'm gonna win this back to back with my host Zach.
Ooh.
Okay.
Just keeping it
Say-
simple.
you know what? Hey, you put my name in there. I gotta love that, of course. Okay,
Yeah.
Jake.
A lot of shots he takes, not a lot of shots he makes. He's Jake.
Wow. You know what? This is tough, but Jake, you might get the Christmas away from here, my man.
That's the worst intro.
You got honesty. You know, the only thing is you're being honest there, and I can appreciate the honesty. So that means, Jake, you are our winner tonight for the show. Everybody, give Jake a round of applause. Come on, everybody. Okay, we got time for FaceTime.
Yes, we do.
We do. Second straight week. Awesome, Jake. Take it away, my
Oh
man.
boy. Okay. Wow. First of all, now that we have time for FaceTime, I don't know what to say. Just want to shout out all my friends and family watching this at home. Really love that you guys are supporting the show, and it's great to be on. Anything else I want to say here?
Do another rap.
Do another rap? No, I'm done rapping. You just
Rap,
witnessed.
more rap.
You just witnessed the beginning and the end of my rap/slam poetry career. I think that's enough for one night.
That's awesome. No. Well, you know, again, congrats, Jake, on winning, and thank you, everybody, for being on the show tonight. Congrats to our winner, Jake. Thank you for tuning into the show. Tonight, be sure to check into the 1-0 Sports Show on Fridays at 9 a.m. and College Press Box every Monday at 9:30 p.m. for the latest sports news on the 40 Acres. Don't forget to follow at TSTV Sports on social media. And for all the panelists and people in studio and Master Control, have a wonderful rest of your week.
Ciao, guys.